Hi everyone, my name is James, and this is a snippet of my little testimony. So I was born in a Christian family in Singapore, and I moved to Canada when I was 7 years old. When we moved to Canada, we went to a small town called Nanaimo. So we were actually one of the few Asian families there. And during that time, I just felt like I didn't really fit in because of that, because we were just a few Asian families there. And my parents always had this high expectation of us to do really well in school. So even if we had 95% or 90%, we would show to them and they would say, "Where's the 100? This is not good enough." So ever since then, I've kind of had this high expectation of doing really well in school as well. So when it was time for me to choose university, I decided to go to Vancouver. I went to UBC, and there's a running joke that people call that university University of a Billion Chinese, because there's a bunch of Asian people there as well too. So when I went there, I was super excited because it was kind of the first time where I got to be in an environment of people who are similar to who I am. In that time, I also created really deep relationships with these people as well too. So I studied accounting, and after I graduated, I worked as an auditor for 5 years after that as well. So during that time, I felt that there was still a void in my life, that there was something missing, and I've always wanted to go back to Asia, and I just decided that this was a perfect time for me to do it. So I told my parents that I was going to quit my job and pursue something that I've always wanted to do. And I thought that my parents would be against it and they would disapprove, because this is something, accounting was something that I worked so hard on, countless hours. But instead they were pretty supportive, and they said, "You know what, if this is what God really wants you to do in your life, then do it now." So I moved to Hong Kong, and this was a place where I met God. This was a place where I found God's love, and I felt His grace and His love through the people there, and through the church, and through a community. And I found a group of people that were even more like me, even more so than the people in Vancouver. I was there for about 2 years, and at the end of that, I just had a feeling that, you know what, this is like my time of fun is up. It's time for me to go back to Canada and to become an accountant again, and just go back to my normal life, find a family, start up like my life again. So I prayed to God and I talked to people there, but I didn't have peace about going back to Canada. But eventually I went back to Canada for 1 year, and it was probably one of the worst time of my life, because I just didn't know what I wanted. I thought I wanted to become an accountant. I thought I wanted to go back to Canada. I thought I wanted to start a family and all that kind of stuff, but my heart was saying something else. And that time I decided to fast, and I haven't fasted in my life before, but I did it, and it was so amazing. And I just felt the presence of God in my life, and I thought that I'd be really tired and hungry because I was in lack of food, but instead I felt replenished, and I felt God speak to me so clearly. And and I asked Him, and I asked myself hard questions like who was I, who I wasn't, what I liked to do, what I didn't like to do, all these tough questions that dug deeper into knowing more about my identity, knowing more about who I am in Christ. And I found out so much about myself during that time. And during the time, God spoke to me and said, "Teaching." And I'm like, okay, I never heard about that before. And then He said, "Taiwan." And I had no clue about Taiwan as well. I've only been in Taiwan once before. So at this time, I wanted to follow His guidance. I wanted to follow where He wanted me to go, instead of me doing something and asking for His blessing. I wanted to go forward and meet him where he is at. So I went to Taiwan, and teaching has been amazing. It's been a profession where I wake up every morning and I'm excited to do it. And I've never had that before of anything else, not with accounting, not with schooling or anything like that. And in Taiwan, it's been amazing. And I've met my beautiful wife, Yiting, as well. And yeah, and during this time, with ups and downs of my life and what I've experienced, I thought that I was already a well-rounded individual and a perfect man until I got married. And it was marriage that really opened my eyes into something even more, that it showed me who I am, and I'm still a broken individual, and I'm still in need of Jesus, and I'm still in need of God's presence. And we're just so thankful for CityLight for just being there with Yiting and I during our beginning years of marriage, where we're just growing, and it's a place where we just we've been able to receive God's love through the people there. And yeah, we just love it, and we're so excited to see how God was going to move in our life here on out. So yeah, thank you for listening.